is going to be a very interesting and unusual show. Yes, you can see I'm surrounded by these beautiful ladies here, but you know, it's funny, right? Okay, but the show does relate to that. But what about taking people at a time when they just don't feel beautiful? What about taking people at a time when their self-esteem is really at the bottom of the barrel? When people have lost all sense of self and they feel hopeless? What about when individuals get cancer and they wind up losing their hair through treatment? Then what? Well, I came across two interesting guys who are trying to help people during this low time to build up their self-esteem and to build up the way they feel so that cancer treatment could not only work well chemotherapeutically, but it can also work well emotionally, that their body can rejuvenate itself by just having the patients feel good. Did you like that opening?
That was great.
Was that great?
That was perfect.
Let me introduce my guests. Jasun Fiorentino. Jason,
It's nice to meet you.
it's great to talk with you and to have this conversation. Steve Kushner, great to see you again,
Nice
Steve.
to meet you.
Terrific. And these gentlemen had a very interesting idea. And I thought, because I know some people who they had helped, and I was touched by what they were doing, and I thought that this would be an interesting thing to let you know what people are doing, which is really just absolutely fascinating. And so let's begin. Let's begin. Steve, your background is in the hairstyling industry for how many years?
40 years.
40. You don't look it.
Well, I look good for my age. You know, I take good care of myself. I eat
You
healthy.
do.
I exercise.
Do you
know.
wear one of these wigs, by the way?
No, luckily I don't need one.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've been in the business for 40 years, helping people style their hair and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and all that. And I know a number of people who go to you, and they've been very, very thrilled with your services through the years. And Jason, you were also a hairstylist
Yes, yes.
for a long time?
About 15, 20 years.
Okay, it's a long time.
Sure.
Absolutely, okay. And two of you guys know each other how long?
About 38 years.
38 years, long time. So you're good friends.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, very good friends.
Okay, so here you are helping people in different various shops, you know, doing work and everything else. And how did this come about that one day you thought you would help people in their homes, which is a very interesting thing. You take the wigs and you help them at home, like Wigs at Home, which is a very interesting concept. So who came up with this idea first?
Well, I came up with it first, actually.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, in my family, my wife was diagnosed a few years ago with ovarian cancer.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a rough time for all of us, but
Yes.
you know, we made it through. My wife has been clean for a few years now, and she's healthy and
Thank
beautiful
God.
again. Yeah, knock on wood. But during this period, when she started her chemo, she started losing her hair, which was, for a woman, one of the most horrible things.
Absolutely.
I mean, I felt emotional myself when she was losing her hair that day. It really hurt me a lot in my own heart. And I researched and found a few wig companies until I found the one that was really nice, where the wigs were really natural and beautiful. And I purchased one for my wife, and you know, it brought her self-esteem back.
Amazing, amazing. So I'm trying to maybe just jump ahead a little bit here, but you know what? I'm not. I'm going to come back to that later because I love where you took it. That's more important. But so then, what did you do? How'd you get this guy involved? How'd you get Jason involved? I mean, your premise was what? You could help people with wigs. I mean, you saw your wife feeling really good about herself, that she wouldn't have to walk around, you know, bald, and now here you gave her self-respect and self-esteem back, right?
Well, it was more than that, actually.
Let me hear.
My wife also was in the healthcare business, and she had a few clients that also needed to have a wig, also because they had chemotherapy. And one or two of them that I spoke to actually did not have a really good experience. They really felt kind of embarrassed at this time in their life to have to go to a store in a mall.
To go to a store in the
Right.
mall. Go to is the key word here. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, my head all of a sudden just clicked. You know, this is someone sick now. They're not feeling well. Maybe they can't even leave their house. I don't know. Someone should really come to their house someone with compassion, you know, at this time in their life, and really help them, make them smile, put a smile on their face.
Right, right.
You know, do it in the privacy of someone's own home so no one else knows about it.
Right.
And since I've been in the business 40 years, I said, you know, this is a great way for me to give something back to the business. That's been so wonderful to me. I've been very fortunate in this business. I've been
Right.
very successful.
Right.
I've had a good time. I have a
Right.
extreme passion for this business. I do it because I love it. I don't think about money when I work. When I
Right.
work, I think about making someone as beautiful as I can, and that makes me happy.
Put on a happy face. Okay. I love that.
So I thought it would be great, since my wife went through this and she made it, and I saw how touching it was, that it would be a great thing to do at this time in my life, to give something back and make people happy. You know, what else can you do in your life more than make people happy?
It's noble. I agree with that. I agree with that. So now, how did this gentleman here, I mean, you can speak. I mean, you know, I mean, I know you talk. I mean,
Come on, say something.
pull the string on him.
Well-
How'd you come? No, come
Well,
on, let him talk.
I'm in marketing and sales for durable medical equipment. So most of my time is spent either in nursing homes, assisted living
You're
facilities,
surrounded by it.
and hospitals. I spend a lot of time in hospitals. So while I'm in there, it just made sense to go downstairs to oncology.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was going from point A to point C, I would stop at point B, which would be a doctor's office, an oncologist.
Right.
And I'd walk in and have a conversation with the head nurse, the manager, and they thought it was a worthwhile thing to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, we're doing, you know,
Doing well.
doing well with the oncologists
Mm-hmm.
in Huntington area. We're doing very well with them. They are recommending us to their clients.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. You know, earlier today we did another show with I don't want to mention names at this point, but with a world-renowned lymphoma specialist. And I told him about you, and he said, you know, when you get a wig, because he's been doing this, you know, since 1963, and he said when someone undergoes chemotherapy, it pays to spend a little extra couple of bucks to get a really natural looking wig, because if you don't, you're not going to feel right, you know.
That's correct.
You know, and it's got to look real, and that's where you come in, you know, trying to make the person feel really good. So your concept is not to have the patient go to the mall or go out into the store with a hat on their head and a kerchief hanging over their head, so they're hiding everything, and then they walk, you know, as if they're doing a drug deal into the store, feeling embarrassed.
That's
And then
correct.
this way they can be in their home, which is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And, you know, being in their own home and the privacy, they feel comfortable also because they are in their own home. And we can talk about, you know, anything there.
What I liked is that you try to get to them before the hair starts all coming out. This way you could, what do? I mean, someone contacts you and says, help me, I'm about to embark upon it?
Well,
or
they
help me, I've
usually,
lost-" What
because I'm in the oncologist office, they call me and I call Stephen, and I give them the heads up that someone wants to make an appointment with
Right.
them. And what we try to do is get to them 2 weeks before they start chemo.
Mm,
This way we can see the hairstyle and we can see the color, and then help them out that way.
mhm.
Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, you know, depending on how they're feeling.
Right. Do you ever cut any of the hair so that you could match it better? You know, take like a swatch?
Well, I don't really have to do that, actually.
Why?
Because I have,
Is it this?
yes, I have a whole ring.
Cool, look at that. This reminds me of
And
dentistry.
I have
we
many of
shade
these,
guides
and I have, right, almost every shade from black to brown to blonde to red and
me see.
highlighted hair.
So this way you bring this over to the patient and you kind of flop it on their head and put it next to their hair and see what they want. Maybe all of a sudden they say, you know, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to become a redhead.
Right. Well, sometimes people want to do something that's just like their own hair so people don't notice. And then I get clients sometimes that want something totally different. They want to be a little more fashion forward, you know, or have a new look or even a new color. Maybe someone with curly hair
Right.
might want straight hair, and they'll love it.
You know,